Okay, so new background and new video series. I know I've killed off everything except for the F1 documentaries and race in review. So let's hope we stick with this one. I think this is going to just sort of be when I can't think of what to do for making an F1 video, this is what I'm going to do. I'm calling it This Week in F1. It's going to be sort of like an F1 news show. And for those wondering what you can compare it to, I'm essentially ripping off Will I Nay Not Keemstar. But anyways, let's get into this video and let's talk about the news in F1 this week. First thing, Guy gets new Assetto Corsa footage. Yay! So now you don't have to look at all the crusty old footage. You can now see a Lotus 98T wheeling down Black Cat County in Assetto Corsa. This footage took a long time to get, and I hope you like it. Also, new background that's gonna last for 1 week because it's crap and I know it. Anyways, let's get into the F1 news action at this point, and starting with Ricciardo. Now, I think everybody thought after Spain he was going to bounce back and he was going to be pretty much flattening Lando Norris, but after a lot of opinionated videos by all the F1 content creators came out, it looks like beyond just those videos, of course, he's not where he should be. At least in my opinion, he's not where he should be. And what I mean by that is Ricciardo, in my opinion, and I think the opinion of others, should be pretty much trouncing Lando Norris at this point and consistently beating him or matching him. And I know Lando Norris is having the best season of his career, but the fact is, this is not going to be his peak. He will get better and better and better. He's so young at the moment that this is not going to be the best season he ever has. And when McLaren gets an actual championship-winning car, or close to it in the future, that will be probably his best season. So not now. They're not even in contention at this point. They're just grabbing a couple podiums here and there. This is sort of like the McLaren of old, like the 2012 McLaren, I guess. But even then, they were in it for the championship. So I don't know what McLaren we can compare this to. Maybe like the 2003 they were fighting for the championship. But this is sort of like a McLaren state where they should be able to fight for podiums. And in my opinion, at least, Daniel Ricciardo should be at the forefront of this new McLaren. And according to Andreas Seidel, the team principal, who I rate highly, the issue with Daniel is that he is not comfortable with the braking system of the car. He trails the brake through slow-speed corners, and the car doesn't react well to that, meaning that he isn't comfortable with the car, and it just exacerbates the issue when he has a spin through some of those corners. Now, he hasn't had a spin as far as I can see yet through the slow-speed corners, but it's always a possibility, and I'll be interested to see if that happens. You know, they're still tuning the car to his driving style, which is very important. Remember, he had no input on this car. This was all Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz. So, you know, maybe next year's car will be more Daniel focused. We'll see. Now, I'm hopefully going to get this up on screen unless it's been copyright striked, and I can't do this, but Lewis Hamilton has gone skydiving. My man is insane, because it looked really high, like normal, higher than normal in my opinion. For those who have seen the Jeff Wittick documentary, it looks a lot higher than that. But other news, Bottas's pit stop actually took 43 hours to get the wheel off. That was crazy. By the end of it, Ferrari were showing up with sledgehammers to try to knock the wheel nut off. In my opinion, the funniest part about all that is, why does Ferrari bring sledgehammers to a race weekend? Can someone explain that to me? But anyways, yeah, it's pretty crazy from them. Tsunoda looks like he's going to get demoted already, or not demoted, but he's been moved to Italy, and Helmut Marko is going all big man mode on him. He's essentially controlling every aspect of Tsunoda at the moment, so hopefully he doesn't get worried. Hopefully Tsunoda just stays calm, because when he is calm, you know, at the end of last year's F2 season, he is an excellent driver, but yet when he's rushing, he's frantic, you know, he makes mistakes, and that's what we've seen throughout this season. I hope that Tsunoda delivers on the potential that not just me, but everybody else thinks he has. And really, I think it was the right time to bring him to F1. I don't think he would have benefited much more from another season in F2, especially if he didn't win it then. If he didn't win in F2 this year, if he stayed in F2, then I think that would be so detrimental to his career that, you know, I think the risk was too high, and I'm glad that he's come into F1 at the time that he has. Other news, Red Bull is now in the lead of the championship. That's exciting for all the Red Bull fans, including myself, so I'm happy. You know, it's interesting with Red Bull leading the championship. I feel like it's temporary. It feels temporary, at least, but hopefully it's a little bit longer than temporary. Hopefully they stay this way throughout the rest of the season. And at this point, if I was Christian Horner and Adrian Newey, I would demand total domination because the car is clearly faster than the Merc. I think it's just time to go full flat out and don't take the foot off the gas at this point. For those wondering why Ferrari was any sort of competitive around Monaco, it turns out their car is good in the low-speed corners, like in 2017. That's cool, but they're pretty much terrible everywhere else. So it's not a downforce thing. I was wrong last week. Sorry. But yeah, it's really interesting to me because I just didn't imagine them being any sort of good anywhere. But, you know, maybe they'll be competitive in other low-speed corner tracks. We'll see. My source within Mercedes, Alex Popanov of the Russian media, has told me that it looks like Russell is going to be signing for 2 years with Merc next year. Not really much of a surprise. It was more surprising that he didn't go there for 2021, but, you know, I guess they thought he wasn't ready. In my opinion, Russell's been ready for quite a while. I think he could have parachuted in really in 2020, but obviously the Williams contracts are notoriously incredibly binding, and you know, he wasn't actually gonna, that was never a possibility. Another Tsunoda headline, woohoo. He's had to sort of answer for his radio swearing. We've all heard it, right? He's screaming on the radio at Imola, now Monaco. But I mean, I don't understand why people are reprimanding him for that. I mean, sure, yeah, it's not great, but think about the people that have said worse things on the radio. I mean, look at Nikita Mazepin. He's been absolutely going in on Haas, and the second he's on the radio, he's like, ooh, I can't change the switch at Monaco. Dude, you're an F1 driver. You have to be able to change your steering wheel switches at Monaco. I mean, I'm not going to say he's an incompetent, but he's an incompetent for not being able to do that. He's completely incompetent at this point. That's what he's proven to me. And Andy Cowell has now been asked to join Red Bull. He's come out and said that, so I assume the answer is probably going to be a no, but hey, that's great. I mean, the fact that Red Bull's gone for the big man Andy Cowell really makes me happy, because I remember in September when I made the video saying what's Red Bull's next step with the Honda engine debacle, who do they get to head up their engine program, or maybe it was October, I can't remember, whatever. I said Andy Cowell was their guy and they need Andy Cowell, just like they needed Adrian Newey in 2006, they need Andy Cowell now. And the fact that they've approached him means that they're serious about this whole engine thing. And that's a good sign for me. I think that's a good sign for other people. I think we're all happy to see this. Now, I'd like to talk about Aston Martin because people say they're making a comeback of sorts, but in my opinion, there's no sort of comeback happening at all. I mean, look at where they are right now. Okay, they had a great weekend in Monaco, but that's because their car favors tracks like Monaco. Similarly to the Ferraris, they don't have as much downforce. They've lost all the downforce, or so they say. And I feel that there's no reason for them to be competitive really everywhere else except for the low-speed tracks like Ferrari. So when we see Ferrari being competitive, I think we'll be seeing Aston Martin be competitive. But I don't think really anywhere else we're going to see them being that competitive. Other news, you've got Michael Schumacher clearly not making a return. People said, you know, that he may make a return for the 2022 season. I mean, there's absolutely no possibility at this point. You know, somebody said it was going to be like Fernando Alonso. He's just too old at this point. He's over 50. There's no way, not a thing. And F1 says that they plan to change the track layout of Abu Dhabi. That's great because we've all wanted this for years, and because we've been begging for it for literally years. And really, it's like, it's great that it's happening, but there's not really much reason for them not to do it before now. I mean, it's, yeah, again, great, glad they're doing it, but come on, come on F1, like, could you have done it before? Maybe, maybe not, I guess. Obviously, making circuit changes isn't easy, but it also isn't that terribly difficult either. You're just changing the layout of the circuit, you're laying some new asphalt, and you're drifting some drift cars over there to get rubber in. I mean, that's really all it is. But anyways, if you did enjoy this video, consider liking and subscribing. Did you enjoy this format? That's really the main thing. Comment about it if you liked it. Comment about it if you didn't like it, because I need to know, is it worth me ripping off other YouTubers and their style of content simply to get more, you know, videos in? By the way, for those noticing that this is 10 minutes, if the channel gets monetized, you know, the fact that all the videos are 10 minutes is a good thing, let's just say that. But thank you, goodbye. I'm back for a second. Watch the Indy 500. That's going to be interesting. It's happening like as I speak. As I record right now, it's literally starting. So watch it now.